I'm now here with actress Madalina Bellariu. You have acted in Hollywood films and Italian films. So tell us your experience about working in a Bollywood film for the first time.
Actually, yes, it's my debut in Bollywood. The script came to me. I was in London through my manager in London, and I simply read the script. I love the role, and that's the reason why I get on board for this project. Because for me, it's less important if it's Hollywood or Bollywood, as long as I love the script and my character's journey.
Did you find any differences in working in the Bollywood film industry versus, for example, Hollywood?
Not really. I mean, the team was very devoted. We shot in London for 33 days, and there was half British crew, half Indian crew, and I find them both to be very devoted, very passionate about their work. You could see the passion.
Have you seen Oculus before? Were you familiar with the story?
Yes, I have seen Oculus, but my character does not exist in the original, so I'm the new element of Dobaara. Therefore, was a little bit of pressure as well on me. But if it would have been a copy of Oculus, probably I wouldn't have decided to come on board for this film. But because I read the script and I realized it's going to be beautifully different, I decided to do it.
Anna is a new character in Dobaara. How do you think she adds to the story in this new version?
She is having an extramarital affair with Alex Marchant. Alex Marchant, played by Adil Hussain. Between them, it's an intellectual connection rather than just physical. She speaks from the Bible. She fuels Adil's dreams and Adil's ambitions. I guess it brings a lot to the story itself, because then you understand Adil's character better. You understand Alex Marchant much better if you understand my relationship with him, the bond, the connection we have, which is strongly mental. It's intellectual.
Tell us a little bit about working with Prawaal Raman.
Actually, before I came on board for this project, I watched Prawaal Raman's previous films. I watched 4 and 4, I watched Maino Charles, and after that I said that I really wanted to Dobaara, because I see that he has his original way of looking at things, and he is not a typically Bollywood director in a way, because he hasn't done typically Bollywood films. So I realized Dobaara will have an international feel as well, and therefore in Dobaara we have the producers from Interpid and Relativity on board together with Before You to do this amazing project. So it's great. I don't feel I'm doing a Bollywood film, but I would love to do a typically Bollywood film as well. I'm just looking for the right script. So when that will be offered to me, I'll definitely consider.
In 2013, when the film released, I had been in the theater and I watched it, and I was like, wow, what a beautiful film, what a smart concept, never knowing that in the next 2 years I'll be offered the same film. So it was a beautiful experience to adapt it, or rather have a different stage to tell the same tale.
So like you just said, you kind of readapted it. So what changes did you make to this version to sort of appeal to the Indian viewers and their sensibilities?
See, I do not go by Indian viewers and their sensibilities, because sensibility is a relative term and sensibility is universal. So because time and space changed, I did my own interpretation of what Mike had beautifully made. So it was just about telling the same story, the same soul, in a new platform. And that's what I did.
The two main characters in the film are siblings, and they're played by Huma Qureshi and Saqib Salim, who are real-life siblings.
Yeah.
How do you think their real-life chemistry helped the film?
Well, it helped me in a huge way, no doubt, because I didn't have to work much on their so-called, or typical term used is chemistry. No, I didn't have to work much, because they were too apt for the characters because they are real life siblings. And the beauty was that both of them were amazingly, they are very talented actors, both of them. And it was very beautiful feeling for me to direct two people who care about each other. So it was not an actor's rivalry where Huma would tell me to have more, so-called attention to be given to Saqib, while Saqib will tell me to give more attention to Huma. So it was a very beautiful feeling for me to direct two, the brother and sister who were too much in love with each other. And usually I find it with actors who are like, oh, it's me. But for them, it was not me, it's her. And for her, it was him. It was beautiful.
Director Mike Flanagan, who made the original Oculus, did you ever speak with him prior to making this film? Were you familiar with his other works?
Well, of course, I was familiar with all his work, including the short film he had made on Oculus. And of course, I had seen Oculus, no doubt. I am a great admirer of his work. And I didn't want to be in touch with him while I was making the film because it would corrupt the film. I wanted to complete it, and then as a tribute and as an honor to him, wanted to have him as the first audience. That's the reason I invited Mike and Trevor to watch the film for the first time, and it was so strange that even I was watching it for the first time after the final copy was ready, because we had the screening right here in LA and they had sent the copy from India. So it was a great feeling to watch it for the first time with Mike and Trevor.
Horror films are or can be a little tricky because you have to generate real fear amongst the audiences or create a similar atmosphere. Do you, as a filmmaker, do you find that difficult?
Not at all. See, what I find difficult is if I have a star and I just need to capture them, because that is not my cup of tea. I find it easy to use the cinema as a language and tell my story. So not depending on stars, so-called, and not depending on any other thing but my craft is more challenging for me and more interesting to me. That's the reason horror works the best for me, because concept is a star.
You've gravitated more towards horror films than, let's say, a rom-com or a drama. Do you prefer to stick with horror films, and will you continue to do so in the future?
Not at all. See, I'm a storyteller. I can tell a story. Fortunately, I've been getting horror to direct, and I have made a couple of horror films earlier as well. But my next film is not about a horror. And as Mike was saying that he would want me to adapt all his films, so it's quite possible I might be making more horror.